Hey y'all, it's Natalie Renee and welcome back to my channel. What is up y'all? How is everybody doing? For myself, I've been battling this like really bad sinus infection / cold. So I'm finally feeling a little bit better today. It's been like a week and a half, so we're finally feeling better though. I have also been having some long and hard days at work, so I'm excited for this weekend because I have some plans with my friends in the city. While getting my plans together for this weekend, I thought what better time than to do another life after college chit chat centered around my experiences starting over in a new city and just building a social life. To preface this, I will say that yes, I'm an outgoing person personality-wise, but I really truly think that I'm a little bit more introverted when it comes to meeting new people and making new friends and just figuring out how to go out into the world as myself. So I am not an expert at this either, but for the past 6 months, I've really been putting a good effort forth. So let's get into it. So how to start fresh in a new city. You've graduated, you've moved in, or not yet. You've graduated, you've accepted a job, or you've graduated and you know that you want to move to a new state or a new city, and you're like, where do I even begin? For me, I accepted a job here and I did not live here. I went to Georgia Tech. I accepted my job position in St. Louis. So I was like, okay, I have to do some research. So step number one, research. Research your city, whether it's the different neighborhoods, whether it's the cost of living. You could research culture, you could research lifestyle. For me, a lot of people kept telling me, oh, don't move to a certain area of this, don't move to a certain area of that. Research is just helpful, so at least you have the information before making a decision, like choosing where you're going to buy an apartment. Even research as to like what areas have cheaper rent than others. I know where I'm at, specifically in this city, I had no idea that my city is as expensive as it is because the rent that I paid in Atlanta is like about the same. So I had no idea. I didn't really do much research in that area because when I moved, it was like hard to even get an apartment. And that is another thing I'd say. If you have an opportunity to be flexible with when you're going to move, I feel like you should look up, if you can, like if that information is even available, when is the best time to move into your city? Because moving here in the summertime, it was not good. I mean, it was fine, but a lot of the apartments that I had been calling, gone the next week, gone the next day. Ooh, and if you have the opportunity, I really suggest visiting your new city. And maybe that's visiting to look at apartments or just visiting to kind of get the feel and the vibe of it before you go there full time. I think that can kind of help with the transition to starting over. So you've researched your city, you're like, I know where I'm gonna move, you move, what do you do then? I feel like the best thing for you to do at that point is to start building your routine. And what I mean by that is like your day-to-day, your daily habits, and going out and finding those little pieces of life that really just help you enjoy life. And so for an example, I moved in July. A few months after I moved in, I found this really cute park that is a walk away. And so I would walk to the park, and it just really gave me a sense of comfort and a sense of familiarity here for me being so new. So I really enjoyed walking to the park. I enjoyed looking at all the beautiful houses near my street because that's just one of the things that I like to do. And then I knew that I wanted to get into pottery. If you are new to this channel, I love pottery and I am trying to really expand my skills and be consistent with that. If you're returning, you already know that I am into pottery, but for me, that meant finding a studio out here so that I could have another form of comfort in this new space. The next important piece, I think, you've moved in, you've done your research, you have some daily habits, you've got your things going. Coping with homesickness. Now, me, I don't get homesick very often. I do miss people, but because I've had internships, I've been in college, I've been moving around so much, I don't really feel homesickness, but sometimes I do feel like my space lacks that cozy feel. So, I mean, try to add things to your apartment and your space that you can to really like boost up the cozy environment to kind of combat that homesickness. You could also establish like comfort routines. Like for me, again, if you are returning, I love Grey's Anatomy. So the things I like to do so I can feel comfy and cozy in this new space and less alone is watching Grey's Anatomy and being on FaceTime with all of my friends and family and loved ones. So whatever you do to make your space more comfy or to make you feel more comfy, make it a priority so that way you can start to feel like you in this space. Now the next one is like so much easier said than actually done. It's building a social life. I feel like we say, oh, build a social life, but that takes time, right? That most of the people in our social life are people that we've known for years, people that we know through work. But what about all of those people that eventually, when you look at your life 20 years from now, aren't related to you or aren't friends from college or aren't co-workers of yours? They're people that you've met here and there through different things. That's what I have been really trying to work on doing out here, is building my social life. A few of the challenges I feel like I've ran into when trying to meet people outside of school is one, where to meet them, right? You have your coworkers. You may not work on a team with a bunch of people who look like you or are similar to you or even your same age. And then it's not like you're in class and you can just, I don't know, make friends with somebody so y'all can do homework together. Like, it is not the same. The reality of that, I think, set in for me kind of early. Maybe like month 3, I was like, oh, I really don't know anybody. And then another one that you don't really have to deal with in college is knowing when and how to hang out. Like, you guys can just hang out. Like, studying is hanging out. Or, oh, we're both going to this, I don't know, food place on campus, that's hanging out. Oh, they have an activity somewhere on campus, that's hanging out. You don't really have to initiate it or even establish that it's an official hangout the way that you do in the real world. So I feel like that has been a challenge of mine, and maybe a foreseeable challenge for all of you new grads who are like, how do I build a social life? And then another challenge I think that I definitely feel is like work fatigue and just not feeling it. Like, sometimes I get home from work, I don't want to go and talk to anybody. I don't want to socialize. I want what's comfortable and what I know. And, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, that's not very many people out here. That's all of my people, my family, and my friends from home. So I feel like that has been a challenge too, with trying to make new friends and build a new social life, that when I'm feeling really tired and I'm not feeling like I really want to hang out, it makes it even harder for me to just go and do something, even if I'm invited. Now, how to overcome these things, I have a few tips, but I also am still learning. If you have some tips, leave them in the comments. But some things that I've found that really help me to help myself build a social life is saying yes to things. Even if it's out of your comfort zone, even if the activity you don't really care for, there are people reaching out to you and people who want to hang out with you. And all that you're doing is living yourself further from having a network of wonderful people in your life. And so I think just saying yes more is important to building a good social life. And I've been saying yes more. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have 3 possible things that I have going on this week. And I already did something with someone new earlier this week on Wednesday. And that is big for me. That is a lot of people, a lot of different hanging out. And although when the time comes, I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't wanna go, I'm gonna really try to force myself to go, because at the end of the day, I know that I'll enjoy the experience that I had, I'll enjoy the hangout or whatever we were doing, and I know that I'm better off going and saying yes than being comfortable and saying no. I know that social anxiety and fear can really be a challenge in this space. If you're a person who has social anxiety or fear when it comes to meeting new people, I think what you have to do is just get out there. You have to get out of your head. You have to be spontaneous. You have to just mentally remove all those barriers from yourself and just put yourself out there, because there's no other way, right? Not everybody knows that you have social anxiety to know to just invite you anyways. Nobody knows you yet. So you have to put yourself out there. I've been trying to put myself out there as much as I can, as much as I mentally have the energy for, but more times than not, I felt even better once I put myself out there and went and did the thing, even though I might have had some social anxiety or fear going into the hangout. Another way to overcome some of those challenges with making new friends is connecting with your coworkers, right? I was touching on the fact that, you may not have coworkers that look like you, or you may not have coworkers that are your same age, but there's a lot of room in there to have different friends and make different types of relationships. None of my coworkers, or maybe a few of my coworkers on my direct team, are my age, and I may or may not decide to hang out with them outside of work, but we do connect on shared interests, which just really helps you to, I think, build a network. And then another coworker of mine, we just went to pottery together earlier this week, and it was really, really nice. So just connect with people at your job, connect with people who you pass by on a day-to-day, connect with your favorite cashier at the grocery store, because I feel like you just never know, not necessarily what people can offer as if they're just going to give you something, but you just never know what possible benefits could come from being open to meeting new people. Another one that I'm going to lean into a little bit more this year is looking into local events. I think I've done a couple, but checking Eventbrite and looking on Instagram, Facebook, I don't know. Wherever the information is for what's happening in your city, look at that stuff. And if stuff interests you, go by yourself. And if you don't want to go by yourself, invite people. We have to step out of the box, guys. I mean, I think that for me, sometimes inviting people to do something is a little bit stressful because I don't want somebody to turn around and say no or to not be interested in it. But at the end of the day, if I want company, then I'll put that out there. And if I don't want company, then I'll go by myself. But yeah, look at local events and just see what's out there in your city. It's just another good way to put yourself out there. Here's one I feel like is really, really, really important. Don't sacrifice new friendships for familiarity and comfort. And what I mean by that is, or let's take me for example. I'm in a relationship. I love my family. I have plenty of friends from college. I can be fulfilled and fill up my time talking to them, hanging out with them, making plans with them. But the more that I say no to the people who invite me to things here and the people who want to hang out with me here, the less likely they're gonna want to keep reaching out to me and trying to hang out with me, right? You don't want to burn any bridges just because you're so familiar and comfortable with how your life currently is right now. You've got to shake some things up and get a little bit uncomfortable you never know what beautiful friendships you could have. The next thing that I feel like is so important, and I guess not talked about as much, is navigating loneliness and rejection. Because that really happens, right? We're in this new space, we have so much going on. We can feel lonely at times, and we also can have that rejection. Maybe the people that you're reaching out to hang out aren't being very responsive. Maybe your current friends from home aren't being very responsive, and it can kind of make you feel down. And I just want to say it's common. It is common after graduation, right? You and possibly all of your friends that you just graduated with have a lot going on. Y'all are busy. Y'all are making money. Y'all are doing the career thing. You're doing the life thing. But everybody is their own person now. You don't have that same familiarity and togetherness that you did in college, and you have to embrace that things are different. The thing is, reaching out to people does not always guarantee they're going to reach back. Like I said, they're busy. You're busy too, and that's okay. I think the best way to overcome that feeling of either rejection or just feeling of loneliness, like you're just by yourself here, is to focus on you. Focus on you, boo-boo. Focus on self-growth and hobbies. Self-growth, that could be anything. If you like to journal when you're feeling lonely like that, but just really focus on yourself. And then when it comes to like the growth in the hobbies, think about that thing that you said that you always wanted to do and you never had the time for. Go and do that, right? I don't know, maybe you wanted to pick up a new instrument, maybe you wanted to play a new sport. Like me, I like to do my pottery and I've been really invested in that. I just go and do that, especially at times when I am feeling a little bit more lonely than usual, because pouring into yourself is, I feel, the only way to kind of get out of those emotional and mental ruts. Oh, and another good tip for that, don't take rejection personally, because it's not always about you, boo. It's not. The last big thing I feel like is super important is keeping in touch with your more long distance friends and family. I feel like I've touched on the new, right? I've been talking about how you can, different ways that you can build a new group of friends, build a new social life in your new city with your new job, right? And all of these new plans. But what about your current friends, right? How do you keep in touch with them and also balance your new life, your new schedule? The things that I feel like work really well for me, one of them is setting schedules with people. If you know that you're a more out of sight, out of mind type of person, just set up a call. I promise you, nobody's thinking that deeply about it being scheduled, and maybe you don't have much to talk about and you don't get on the phone that day, but scheduled calls or just scheduled time for you to actually be a friend to someone else. I think it is beneficial for you, but you honestly never know how much it could benefit them and how much they need it too. Setting schedules with people is always a plus. And another one I think is good is setting reminders to call people. Not just to set something like formal, not necessarily putting something formal on the books that you're both going to be a part of. Maybe you just give somebody a call, you've been thinking about them. And it's okay if people don't call you back either, but I feel like if it's on your heart and in your mind to call somebody and see how they're doing and check in on them, you should do that. And 10 times out of 10, it will really boost their day, and just knowing that you were able to call somebody and make their day a little better will make your day a little bit better. Another thing about keeping in touch with long distance friends is that it's not about talking every day. It is not about talking every day. It is about showing up when it matters. The only way you can show up when it matters is by being intentional and being thoughtful and reaching out to people and just maintaining those same friendships that you love and cherish. All in all, there's just a lot when it comes to starting over, starting fresh. There's just a lot that can be going through your mind, a lot that can be going on physically. You're trying to furnish your space, you're trying to work, you're trying to establish a routine, and all of it can kind of feel like a lot. I definitely can relate to it feeling like a lot, and that everything is happening all at once, right? But I just feel like the best ways that you can navigate this new space is to, one, explore and embrace the learning curve of your new city. And what I mean by that is every place you live is not going to be like the last. So don't come to your new place with the same expectations that you had of your old place, right? Me personally, I don't like how people drive here. I was previously in Atlanta and they drove pretty bad there too, but here, it's like different. They drive a whole type of different. It is a learning curve. Now I know how to get on the road without getting crashed into, okay? Now that one was kind of unserious, but I think it still applies. Just embrace what your new city has to offer you. Embrace just the experiences that you may have in your new city. Another one is be intentional about building your new routines and social connections. You know, with the social connections part, I feel like we're at that age, it is quality over quantity. You don't need 20,000 billion friends or to stress yourself out trying to have and maintain 20,000 billion different friendships if they're really not of quality, if they're not serving you, you're not serving them. You know, just be intentional about everything that you do. And I think being intentional in this new space will really help it not be so hard. Also, accept and embrace loneliness and possible rejection. because one, it's not always about you, and two, everyone gets lonely sometimes. Just accept that that is a part of life, especially your new life. And I'm saying this and it sounds like I'm just saying it all easy. I have felt these things. I have felt the loneliness. I have felt the rejection from possibly new friends. Really, it was all in my head. That's besides the point. If you're gonna put yourself out there, put yourself out there. Do the things that you say that you wanna do. Do the things that you think about and you go, oh my gosh, I really wanna get into that. Go and do that. If you really wanna go to the movies, go to the movies. If you just really want a friend to go to the bookstore with you, invite that friend to the bookstore. Go on a walk. I mean, the world is literally your oyster. When it comes to being in this space of living in a new city and making new friends, loneliness and rejection is natural. The only way that you can get out of that rut feeling is by just doing you. So keep doing you and everything will be fine. Those are all of my thoughts and some of my personal experiences on, starting a new life and just creating a life for yourself, making new friends. I have only been out here and really on my own for 6 months, going on 7. So I know that I have a lot to learn, but I also know that I'm very hopeful for the future. And I'm hopeful for the new friends that I will have, for the different activities that I go and do. And I'm here and accepting and embracing all that comes with that. So if you've made it to the end, what has been the most challenging part of starting a new life and making new friends for you? Let me know in the comments. And as always, give yourself grace and enjoy every little bit of life that you can. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.